right, it is now time for raising funds for world domination, day number 176. So as for the daily update, so on the rent eviction situation, so I was, I guess, naively kind of thinking that would be it, because we on the 6th, that was the third hearing for the N13 merits. So we continued to talk about the case, and then on the 14th, that's when I received notification from the LTB that they decided to dismiss all the applications. And then today, I learned that they haven't gotten any official confirmation, but there's an indication that they may try to appeal the decision from the tenant board to a higher court. So I'm just keeping tuned to learn more on that as it develops. So from my understanding, the ruling seems pretty conclusive, so I don't know. I think they're kind of grasping at straws to try and appeal it. But nonetheless, we'll see what happens. So the rent eviction saga may not even be over. All right, on the next front, I'm working on getting revenue up, so I have the store set up. Could you dismissed? Are you talking about? Oh, spelling typos? There you go. There, spelling corrected. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I try to do good spelling, but spelling is hard work. Yeah, so the next front is working on getting revenue up with the Shopify Store. So the Google Merchant Center is still in the disabled state. Basically, there's no updates on this thing today. I still have no sales today. I still have, I think it is that Limonite ore is the current one that's for sale. So if you want your own dedicated block type, there's one on sale now for $16. Get it before it goes up in price. And I worked on the marketing video, so right now, today I worked on, I want to talk a bit about like ad targeting, which is kind of a complicated thing to describe. So I spent most of the day on like a diagram to try and explain how bids and targeting works in the auction system. So maybe we'll be conservative and say scripting 70%. I gotta kind of accelerate this because at this point it's been over 2 weeks since my last video. I was gonna try and do at least one a week, but I'm way behind. And tonight we'll continue with work on the terminal block mining game. Working to get recipes working. So I thought about it, and I should probably significantly change how the scroll bar math works. So that there is that orientation works all right, except for it's gotten off by one error down there. And if you do change split type, it does not show the scroll bar, which is wrong. Anonymous user says, just pop by, say have a good stream. Thank you. I will. So these are just some debug values to kind of, I'll probably figure out, I have to switch to like calculating it by, oh look, that actually kind of looks like exactly what I want. There's no off by 1 errors. But it's got a fixed. It's just using fixed values for now. After rewatching your How to Become video, I fall asleep. Now I'm a 40-year-old in the same boat. With a less viral YouTube video. Hopefully your world domination puts me in a brighter mood. Hopefully, I think it makes sense for me to make a how-to video for everything in turn. I've mastered the Baroque loser part, and now I just need to work on the full world domination part. And then once I get to like Elon Musk level, then I can make a video called How to Take Over the World, and that'll also get 1 million views. Thanks. Only a few $100 billion away. Yep, we're getting pretty close. For the port infrastructure, yep, just need around 12 billion. Everything gets accomplished one step at a time. Levy for a waifu asks a question about Israel. I don't know, Israel, that's one of those topics that involves lots of arguments. Once we get the deepwater port built, we won't need to worry about Israel. 12 billion, huh? Walking around money. How's the eviction stuff going? I was a channel member but lost track. So on the 14th, so I guess Tuesday of this week, I got a notification that so the hearing was on the 6th. The tenant board got back to us pretty fast and had a pretty detailed set of arguments. So we won the case. All of the N13 applications were dismissed. And then, so that was the 14th. And then I found out today that apparently they've stated an intention. I'm still waiting for like confirmation, more information. Apparently they have intention that they want to either like try to do appeal or like a review or something to a higher court, which I think is probably going to be difficult for them because I think the ruling was pretty clear. Like there was not a we had to win. There were like multiple ways that we could win, like arguments that we could win on. We needed to win on like, for this one section, we could win on just one of the three, and we won on all three of them. So even if they like defeated one of those arguments, we won on like basically all counts of every possible way. But I don't know. We'll see. It may be that they try to like the bar is pretty hard to the bar is pretty high to try and appeal it. They have to find like I'm not. This is not something I do every day, but I think they have to find like a flaw in the in how the law was applied, or so they can't just like relitigate the case. They have to have some material reason why they would appeal it, or like have a review. And I guess even if they do, they can likely just look at it and be like, nope, appeal denied. So we'll see what happens on that. It was a bad faith or fiction claim. Yeah, it was. The ruling pretty much says that. Some positive news. Yeah, it's better. It certainly could have been worse. Excellent news. It sounds like they were essentially shut down. Yeah, I think so. According to the ruling, it was pretty. The way it was written was, I thought it was pretty conclusive, and it was thorough. I mean, there's so much preparation and arguments and stuff like that. I don't know. I'll wait. There's still I just found out about this like appeal today, so we'll see what happens with that. Oh, I kind of hope that. I mean, I guess they can still still torture us endlessly with like frivolous lawsuits and stuff. My HOA never applied my auto pay and is trying to foreclose my rental house. Neutral on it being taken off me since I can tell my credit cards to F off if that's on my record. Never applied my auto. Is trying to foreclose. They're foreclosing on your rental house. Oh, so you own a house and rent it out. And the HOA is trying to seize it? Yeah, that's HOAs are getting out of control. I know in the US they're all owned. I mean, HOAs used to be like, community members and stuff, but now it's basically like local mafias and cartels. In Brazil, HOA didn't apply auto pay due to error on their side. Didn't email me or anything. Yeah, that's stupid. I mean, it's annoying that modern life involves this kind of nonsense. That's one more vote for living in the woods, away from all this nonsense. coding of the game. Is there any end in sight yet? LOL. Will this be a forever project that allows world domination? I guess it would depend on what you mean by end. I think there's an infinite amount of stuff you could add to it. I'll probably continue adding content to it as long as it seems like a viable thing to invest more time into. I do have like releases of it, so I have like finish lines that I have achieved on at least a few occasions where I actually have something published. You can check the link in the description for some of the last releases. HOA is Karen business practices. Yep, that's my understanding. I don't think I'd ever get a place where they had an HOA. Like you, neutral on the concept of it going bad. Well, it sounds like if you own it, though, you have something to lose. So I don't know how much equity you have in the whole situation. Okay, Mr. Elder, tell me again why dual booting Windows is not a smart idea. Sorry to derail, but I was just about to use case where that would save my day. But your comment months ago haunts me. Before I go down a quick rabbit hole, what's your take again? So the take again is, so when you dual boot, say you have Windows on it and you install Linux, Linux will make a change to the master boot record and install like a shim, basically, so that it can like intercept part of the boot process, and it gives you the grub menu, so that way you can choose if you want to go to either one. And when you do that, and it happens correctly, Windows will sometimes look at that and it'll look at the master boot record and say, hey, wait a minute, that's corruption, that's a virus. And then Microsoft will try and repair the corruption, and it will fail and completely destroy the master boot record. And then next time you boot the computer, it'll say like grub launch failed, no bootable media found, or some weird problem like that, depending on how it gets corrupted. And technically your data is on there. Technically your data is probably still fine, but there's like the partition table has been destroyed, and it's going to be a massive problem to try and recover the data. And there's no really great tool. I don't know about now, but anyway, you just don't want to end up in that situation if you can avoid it. I would say it's fine if you're okay with the prospect that someday you'll boot up the computer, and as long as there's no important files there, or if you have important files, if they're backed up. So if you like turned it on someday and Windows has destroyed it. Now the one case, I think now you may even be able to do that and you won't experience a problem, but there may be like Windows is just such a wild card. It's unpredictable. And the other thing that is kind of new is secure boot. I don't know, secure boot is a relatively newer thing, like the significance of it and how it works and how it can fail and stuff like that. So if like Windows, like technically, if you install like super bad malware on a computer, that's effectively equivalent to what Linux is doing when it installs like that boot shim that allows you to dual boot, because like that's literally like a virus. So that has to be done kind of with consent of the system. So that's another reason why Microsoft might look at it and be like, nope, this is corruption. We have to repair that. Thank you, X2. I want to solve the issue somehow. It's not fair for an OS to do that. You heard this all before. Yeah, I have experienced this exact issue at least once, and I said never again. And Nar says, hello, how's it going? Can you use Windows subsystem for Linux? Yeah, that's a reasonable question to ask, I guess. If you can just use a VM or WSL. I haven't used Windows for quite a while. Moving in the direction of BSD from Linux these days. Although I did recently acquire my first Apple device. Yeah, I've never used Apple products. I think you can repair master boot record with a Linux, live USB, or Windows. You can sometimes. It depends how badly it's corrupted. So like there's like in the master boot record, like depending on, there's this, you can have like the old style IBM master boot records that are like fit within a 512 page, and then there's the like extended ones that are 4K and stuff, and then within there you can have the partition table. So if you, let's say you're setting up your system and you set up a partition table with like you have like games is on a 100 gig section, and then like storage is on another 600 gig section or something, and you specify this manually at install time. If you overwrite that data, the actual information about how big the partitions are supposed to be is basically overwritten and lost. So I would say in general, if you overwrite the master boot record, it's just going to cause you really significant problems with data recovery, and you want to do everything you can to avoid that situation. If you do, then you can clone the disk and try to do recovery. There's tools you can install to like scrub through the raw disk and try and extract files and stuff, but it's and then sometimes you lose the file names and stuff, and now you have like every file without context, so the folder structure is you lose that, and now you're in a really messed up situation. Can't do much about hardware backdoor situation, so I'm currently in the weeds of setting up an air-gapped Lambda network for more serious work. I love WSL better than VM for bash antics. Speaking of living in the woods, your thoughts on Luke Smith? It kind of looks like you could listen to either of you for hours. I have watched some of his videos. I do appreciate his rants. I haven't watched any of his in quite a while, though. I think I'm not sure. I think he hasn't posted much in a while. I took like a long break. What's weather like? It's mid-spring in Hobart, Tasmania. Here it's kind of rainy, cloudy. It's getting cool. We're in the fall time. What is the temperature? The temperature, that's a very topical question right now. The temperature is 1. Thank you for asking. No snow yet? Not yet. That'll be soon. Skateboarding season. I used to have a skateboard years ago. I bought one in my first year of university to get some exercise, and then it got stolen. You can only really go out a few months a year. Yeah, I mean, I don't have that medical condition, but I almost feel the same way. I've only got a couple of months in this country where it's any good. You a fan of snow or the heat? I love snow and being rugged up on a blustery winter's night. I'd say if it's when I was a kid, I was more fond of it, but as you get older, the novelty wears off. Snow will come soon enough. Depends. Sometimes we have ridiculously hot Novembers. I think last November was pretty warm too. Do appreciate Robert being neutral on good landlords and sympathizing with the nightmare tenants. Not all landlords are a-holes. Yeah, I mean, this landlord is a particularly poorly behaved one. Like it's, yeah, I mean, he already lost at the tenant board. He's already trying to apply for, and like the people here are elderly and have like medical conditions, and like it's such a sad state of affairs. I mean, the worst part of it is that, like, there's tons of small landlords. Like, I mean, everyone wants to be successful and acquire a bit of wealth, and like a kind of, a small, for someone to amass a small, successful fortune and invest their earnings and stuff. I think it makes sense for. I don't have anything against someone owning like a few houses or something. If they work their entire lives and they're like 60 and they have like 2 or 3 houses they rent out, or in a small, duplex or triplex or something like that's a normal. The economy works best when like decisions and analysis and work and stuff is distributed into a lot of different people. So clearly, if you have like thousands of small landlords, that's going to be better than having one like monopoly corporate landlord, because the corporate landlord doesn't care. They're just going to try and squeeze as much profit out of the system as possible. Canada all about C. Oh, Celsius? Or you a purist and go with Kelvin? Yeah, that's what they should denominate the temperature in. Kelvin. Normal summer in Canada sucks. Yeah, I was looking forward to like getting out and exercising more this summer, but then it was too hot a lot of the time, so I ended up not getting out. 273 Kelvin. 273.15 Kelvin. Minus 1368. That must mean this is somehow very wrong. Random side loading topic here. Anyone needing relatively cheap Android phone? Check out Motorola Edge Fusion. Liking the phone lots. We distracted Robert too much. He broke his code. That's okay. I regularly break it. Dolan Merville says, hi all. How's it going? Please keep making the entrepreneurship videos. I recommend them to my collective often. I'm at out now and fix my channel membership. Thank you. I'm glad someone appreciates them. They haven't got as many views. I guess that's probably not super surprising because it's fairly different content. But I have another one on marketing. I'm going to be coming out with soon. Demanded my CPF. Yep, you always got to make sure to include the CPF number, or it'll get rejected. Congrats on winning the eviction case. Yeah, although I found it today that they have an intention to I'm still waiting for details, but they intend to appeal or get a judicial review or something. They really don't have a lot of grounds to do that, but they can still just make life miserable by if they could try to escalate to a higher court. That's ultimately I think what they're going to try to do. But then if the higher court just rejects it outright, then that'll be case closed. Keep crushing. I will. Thank you for the encouragement. Cheap for them to do. Will pay off. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. If you think about to file a frivolous appeal, probably costs about $1,000 in legal fees. But just that $1,000, if they can get rid of one more tenant, because there was 30 something tenants who won, who were still here. They started with it was 61 or maybe a bit more, and they got rid of about 30 of them. So if they can just get rid of I'm sure a couple tenants will hear that and be like, "Oh, I'm depressed. It's never going to end," and they'll just leave. That might actually work now. Nope. Still the exact same issue. It's in this one now. Not meant to equal a negative number? Nope. It's also way too large. 1,368. Loving the YouTube's warning, stream content bitrate. Yeah, I don't know. It's always said that. I think the very first stream I noticed that, and now I just ignore it. Oh, that's wrong. How did I not see that? What's your data speed? I'm on fixed wireless broadband. 250 megabits per second down. Actually, I'm not sure. It's I honestly don't even think much about my internet speed because it's for my uses. I consider it like always fast enough. Oh man, that was so close. Nice, that's better. Good night. Take care. Have a good night. Is internet cheap in Canada? I pay 59 AUD. I've paid like it's like $100 a month. Actually, I think Canada has some of the most expensive internet and mobile costs in the world. Alright, today we're getting fiber. Nice. $85 in the US. Mobile plan here is 45 AUD for 80 gigs. Yeah, I looked into a more a better plan for mobile streaming, and it's like it's over $100 a month, and it still has a limit, although the limit is quite high. I think it's like 200 gigs or something. I think India has the best internet, or the cheapest. But I don't know if it's probably less reliable. You want cable or fiber? I'm actually not even that sure. Game Dev Chad says, I guess that's a Unicode minus. Flat. No losses. Well, that's good. I really hope you don't show up one day and say I lost all the money, all the stocks went to zero. Hack Matrix says, hello Robert, how's it going? Got some inaccuracies. Interesting. Well, it doesn't crash. That's an improvement. $35 a month for unlimited data. Couldn't find a Unicode character that made sense. Yeah, the problem with adding emoji characters and stuff is that now people will look for obscure emojis and they don't find them. And people keep wanting to add more of them. Like the green highlight for the menu. Yeah, I think it's improved a bit it's a bit more aesthetic. What's the name of this class? I mean the renderable list item in the class. So the general, most of the list logic is in what's it called? Yeah, renderable list. Yeah, the thing that provides this functionality is in renderable list. And then you could just, the idea is to make it generic. So then you can just implement a renderable list item, and then that will, you can just provide an arbitrary description of how to render it. For the recipe, so the specific colors, crafting recipe, crafting recipe, renderable list item. That's where the actual logic is for rendering this list item. So my calculation is almost correct. I think those are unnecessary, but let's put them there anyway. This engine reminds me of Dwarf Fortress. Yeah, that's good. I mean, part of my justification for building such a minimalist UI is if Dwarf Fortress can be a commercial success, then surely there's room for something similar, or that at least has the same aesthetic. Although in a lot of ways, I haven't actually never played Dwarf Fortress, but from what I know about the lore of it, in terms of the actual game itself, I almost would want to build a game that is the opposite of Dwarf Fortress. So something that has no mythology, or a lot of the stuff in Dwarf Fortress, it just seems random. They're random facts about dwarves and stuff, and I guess people like that. I wouldn't be opposed to getting someone else to dream up some concept like that. Or I guess now you could use AI to do all that. Terminal block mining simulation game looks to have huge social potential, particularly with nightly stream as a coordinated time where people could get on. Someone could truly be playing. Yeah, it is. It would be nice to actually have working multiplayer. The thing is, I keep thinking about that, and I think I'm just too slow. There's still a lot of development work that'll have to be done before I could really have a advertisable. I think there's a few just really significant design flaws and things that have to be fixed. I probably, one of the next major design things I'd probably add is basically local split screen play, so you can I already have the framing system, so you can say open frame, and then I guess that would be another kind of concept in the game. So there would be to have a world connection. So by default in single player, you start up, you connect to a database, or the SQL database, the SQLite database. That's the default one. That gives you the default world connection, so that already exists. But then there would be another menu option to say open world connection, and then that would allow you to specify if you want to open another connection to. So you could open a second connection to the same world file. So you could have you could locally play the two multiplayer things. So that would allow me to test a lot of that kind of stuff. And I could probably even write I could probably even unit test some of the multiplayer stuff using that mechanism. But I guess in a way that's kind of, I don't know whether it's over engineering or good engineering. But it'd be a decent amount of work to it'll just take me a bunch of time. If I worked at this like all day long, like if I worked 8 hours a day every day, I could probably get that done quite a bit faster. But then again, with I would need a way to get revenue. I don't know. We'll see if things. We'll see how many more sales I get in my block store or my Shopify store of the custom block types. Watched a lot of Dwarf Fortress YouTube creator content. Really entertaining to watch someone when they add their own creativity to the game. The guy I watch makes art and sound effects, music. Yeah, I think also since I'm releasing the full source code for this is available, and like people say that having the ability to do modding is important for gaming. But if the full source code is available, that's like modding on steroids, I think. I don't know, like Dwarf Fortress, is the source code available to it? It's a Steam game now. Yeah, I think having source code available is that also means like you could take the source code and you can disconnect. You can go in the woods and play it forever. And then when the server shuts down, you can use your own server. Even with full source available, it would help if there's an official modding interface, so the mods don't step in each other. Or hope someone makes a third-party interface. Yeah, I think for now, I mean, there's I don't think anyone actually plays this game yet, other than in a like testing or unironic way. Or I have seen a couple. People legitimately try it out. I guess we'll see if there's any uptake in interest once I have the more robust crafting abilities, and I've been selling a lot more ore types recently. Actually, it was giving me some ideas for. I think I'm actually due for an update to the terrain generation. So I've been, from adding the different iron ore types, it's been making me think more about like actual natural types of iron ore deposits and stuff. So I could probably have like a noise function. I could update the noise function. So like one dimension of the noise function would be the like water content. So it would just basically be like a map of how much water there is in an area. And then in specific areas where there's a higher water concentration, you would get types of iron ore, like iron ore hydrates more than other types of iron ore. And then in like other, you could have like another variable for densities. So certain areas would, or I guess you could maybe make that the first one. So it'd just be like density. So the higher density areas have like the like lower energy state iron ores. I don't know. I'll figure out some kind of function, but and then as the density function increases, there'd just be like a probability of the blocks of like a certain type of block spawning there. That's according to its density. And then for all the elements, like you can just look up what's the density of iron something oxide and stuff, and then that can just be loaded into a table to give like kind of much more realistic terrain generation, that more like you get clusters of ores that have this approximately the same density, which might be a bit more realistic to life. Now if I can just get this scroll bar to work. So something about I think it's my offset function. It's not working. or my offset, percent offset calculation is not correct. Or too skilled, too high IQ to struggle? There's a lot of people struggling right now. So the economy's all screwed up, and we got world wars all over the place. Not high IQ enough. I can't figure out how to make this scroll bar work. I spent a lot of time on this stupid scroll bar. See what that is. I think that should technically work, but it may also give me some index problems. Maybe I'll have to actually just draw this down on paper. It's one of those things I think I need to visualize it. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep adding and changing numbers, and it'll always be wrong. Yep, still got bugs. Maybe I'll actually just finish that part up on my other computer, where the debugger is actually fast. It's so much work to run the debugger on this thing. Alright, I'll probably leave it there for tonight. I did not get as far as I wanted tonight. I was hoping to fix that, and then also that just that weird alignment bug with the menu, which might be related to something else entirely, with my text justification function. And then once that works, I think at that point, the list feature would be pretty much done at that point, and then I can just finish making crafting work, and then update the inventory item menu. All right, we'll pick things up tomorrow for day 177. All right, have a good night, guys.